All right, there's the next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussion, continuing our Saturday Night's Main Event review series. This is going to be Saturday Night's Main Event 19. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank, man. Let's get into it, man. With WrestleMania right around the corner, you could pretty much call this a road to WrestleMania almost. This was it was live on December 7th, 1988, but they didn't air it till a month later, January 7th, 1989, from Tampa, Florida. Just shy under 10,000 people on hand for this. It was a pretty decent card.
Mm-hmm.
There was a feud based off of SummerSlam. There was a SummerSlam rematch, and our WrestleMania main event was boiling in this one. It was starting to boil.
Yeah, definitely.
The opening match, well, and then of course, let's not forget we had the famous Jesse Ventura, Vince McMahon commentary group on this.
Yeah, as usual.
I'm starting to love it when these two are together.
No, they're great, man. They're great. Ventura's just awesome.
It's the only job where you could pretty much tell your boss to go screw yourself, but it's in character.
Yeah. I like how in the beginning, they got an interview with Beefcake, and Beefcake saying that should have been my title because he was supposed to fight Honky Tonk Man at SummerSlam. Of course, we know he gets injured. Ultimate Warrior ends up getting the title, but I liked how they referenced that because it kind of gets lost in that whole Warrior Honky Tonk Man feud. People kind of forget what the original plans were.
Exactly.
But Outlaw Ron Bass messed him up with the what are those, the heel spurs.
Yeah, and you can actually say that Beefcake kind of started the feud because he was using the spurs on some jabroni, some jobber, and Beefcake had come out, and then Outlaw Ron Bass a few weeks later came out and what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I can't think of it. It doesn't matter.
Either way,
he reciprocated pretty
so.
much, and he cost Beefcake the match, and he actually mentions it that you cost me my IC title match at SummerSlam. So this was actually going to be a hair match.
Yeah,
and this was it was pretty much a one-sided fight almost. Ron Bass really had him going. He was beating the crap out of him, and then out of nowhere, Beefcake gets the sleeper, puts it on him, and shaves Ron Bass's his head. Of course, Ventura's like, "Oh, look, he looks like he's related to Mean Gene Okerlund."
Yeah. That was funny.
Gotta love Jesse, man. But the match wasn't bad. It was the culmination of a summer feud for Beefcake for losing the title shot. It's a shame. I mean, this is the first of two times that he would actually lose an IC title shot, and I believe that he was supposed to be get the title at WrestleMania for SummerSlam, but whatever the case with the injuries and everything that happened to him, man. Unfortunately, he was jinxed when it came to the IC title.
He was snake bit.
Yeah. So, but this was I like this match. It was pretty good. Beefcake. He endured the beating from Bass, but still was able to get through it and whatnot. So it was a pretty decent match. The next match on the card was Hulk Hogan versus Akeem, the African Dream. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I think they had a Hogan and Macho Man interview before that too. Mega Powers were interviewed, and Macho Man was talking about how he's gonna watch it with Mean Gene at somewhere in the back and watch the match, and which I didn't understand.
You can tell that this was stirring.
Yeah, but Elizabeth is now the manager of Hulk Hogan as well, besides Macho Man.
Yeah,
so she comes out with him to the ring.
And Hogan has his match with Hakeem. It's a disqualification. Although I thought it was over way before Boss Man got involved the second time. When he gets involved with Slick the first time, you kind of don't think it's over. But of course, the referee doesn't see it. The referee's out.
They're beating him up, and Macho Man doesn't even come out to help him.
Yeah,
I got confidence in him. Come on, Hulk. I got confidence in you.
I got confidence in the Hulkster. He can pull it out. And I'm like, dude, seriously here?
Yeah, and then Elizabeth even runs to the back to try to get him. And he's like, don't worry. I got confidence in Hogan. I'm like, watch.
And what did it take for him to come out?
Elizabeth.
the handcuffs that Boss Man put
Yeah.
on Elizabeth, and then all of a
Well,
sudden,
you just don't
here
do
comes
that.
Savage.
You don't put your hands on Elizabeth.
Oh
That's a
hell
mistake.
no! On screen and off, Savage was extremely jealous when it came to her.
Hmm.
So once Boss Man had the cuffs on Elizabeth, here he comes with the chair, and even even when they cleared the ring, you could still see Savage is looking at Hogan.
Hmm. And Ventura's saying there's something going on here.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
they mention it later on. We'll get to that in a
Yeah.
minute. You know, they actually finally asked the question
Hmm.
and that everybody was wanting to
Yeah.
know. But yeah, this whole time Hogan's getting the beat down. Savage is rooting for him in the back, and I mean that to me,
Sign of things to come.
exactly. This is it. This you could tell
Yeah.
this is it. They're starting it. If you hadn't caught it already, all the way back to
Mhm.
SummerSlam. So our next match was a rematch from SummerSlam. It was for the Intercontinental Championship. It was the Ultimate Warrior versus the Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah.
And this was a lot longer than the
Yeah.
30-second,
And
18-second match we had.
I like how they set it up too. Like, oh, he was caught off guard at SummerSlam because he didn't know who he was facing, and he wasn't ready for him. But now he's ready for him.
Yeah, he was
I was
ready
like,
for a 5-minute match with
yeah.
him.
Well, it's Saturday night's main event, so they got to rush through. But it was good. But it
Exactly.
was cool though. I always like Honky Man was a good heel.
Yes,
So
he was, and he was good at selling the blows, especially from Warrior. Everybody, I
yeah.
think him and Rude especially were the two guys that could
Taking the
really
bumps,
sell
taking the bumps. Yeah.
yeah, that could sell his
Of
power.
course, they
Honky
cheated too. They hit.
especially.
Yeah, they hit. I think the ref gets knocked out, right? And does the ref get knocked out? There's some sort of distraction. Honky and Warrior gets hit with the megaphone, but it's not
Yeah, of
enough.
course.
Not enough to take
No,
out the Warrior. You need a lot more than that. A lot more than that.
he finally he takes out Honky once and for all. He successfully defends the
Yep.
Intercontinental title, which would put an end to this feud once and for all. And waiting in the wings would be the Ravishing one, which I really enjoyed that feud through 1989. Like I've always said, they worked very well together. But this match wasn't bad.
That was good.
Honky got his rematch. He stood in there a little longer with Warrior this time. Warrior picks up the victory. Still now undefeated still on Saturday Night
Mhm.
Main Event. Our next match, and you can tell what was coming with this one when they had Bobby the Brain Heenan mic'd up for
Well,
this
how
one.
about even in the interview with and backstage with the Red
Oh yeah,
Rooster?
yeah, yeah.
He was he's
With
not well, he's not
Ventura.
fast. Oh, he's not strong, whatever. And
Yeah, he's
Red
kind of
Rooster was
slow, and he's like, "Wait, hello," and they
yeah,
keep bumping him out of the
yeah, he's
way.
setting up.
I mean, you might as well just put a sign that says, "We're turning you babyface
Yeah, I
tonight."
know. What a horrible gimmick, though. What a horrible gimmick.
I never understood why they did that to Terry Taylor. I
Because
really
Bruce
don't.
Pritchard swears by no, it was that he blames Terry Taylor for it. He said if he really would have bought into it, it would have worked. I'm like, never would have worked. It was
To
terrible
act like a rooster, come on.
garbage.
And then what made it
Because
worse
he's
when he turned.
cocky. That's Bruce Pritchard's. Yeah, because he's cocky. He's the cock of the walk.
Meanwhile, when they turn a babyface, now they really get the gimmick going when they spray painted and poofed up his hair, and now they have him actually walking like
Even
it. I
worse.
mean,
Even worse.
that was like one of the dumbest gimmicks ever. And when he finally came back to WWE in the mid '90s for a cup of coffee because he was in the rumble, one of the rumbles, he came out as Terry Taylor, and that was the end of it.
And nobody cared. So
No, by that point it was
yeah,
it was shot.
DOA.
But it was Tito Santana versus the Red Rooster. Bobby Heenan's mic'd up. He's ridiculing Red Rooster to no end. He's like, I can't win it for you out here. I've done so much for you. You need to do this. Meanwhile, Red Rooster's undefeated up to this point. So, it's not like this guy has never won a match for him. But Tito Santana gets the win. And, of course, Bobby Heenan does what Bobby Heenan will do when he gets rid of you. And, Red Rooster just takes him out. This would set up the match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I did like Bobby though. He's like, "Do you know who I am? You know who you're dealing with, whatever." It was funny. Bobby was great.
The best when he did that was at WrestleMania 6 with Andre when he goes, "I'm the effing boss," and then he smacks him. I'm like, "Dude, you just signed your death warrant, bro. You don't smack the giant."
Bobby was a great heel.
Bobby was a legend. I will forever say it. And of course, our main event was Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, versus Coco Beware. He's not Mr. Perfect just yet. He's using the moniker.
But they're starting to use Mr. Perfect. So the gimmick is coming.
and this would be the debut of the Perfect Plex.
Hmm.
You know, it's funny how they didn't know what the move was, but when he did it, they just said, "Oh, that's the Perfect Plex."
Yeah. Poor Coco Beware, man. Poor Coco.
Yeah, he was the guy that would go up against the up and comers to push him
Yeah.
forward, but you know,
High flyer.
he had a good run. He
Yeah.
was, you know, he was
It's a
high
Hall of Famer. I
energy.
think he's a Hall of Famer, right?
Everybody's a Hall of
I
Famer.
know. I know.
James Ellsworth will be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Just give it time. Jeff Jarrett is a
Mm.
Hall of Famer.
Oh,
See,
Jesus Christ.
exactly. So, and to wrap up the night, they had the interview with the Mega Powers, and
Yeah.
the first question.
Yeah, but first, the
Oh,
first
God.
interview was with the natural disaster. Not what was it, natural disasters.
Not there yet.
His names, yeah, yeah. Twin Towers. The first interview is with the
Yes.
Twin Towers, and they're talking down on the Mega Powers and everything. Of course, we know that leads on to their tag team match against them. But yeah, then they go in the interview with the Mega Powers,
And they ask about the rift between the
uh-huh.
two, the dissension, and they blow it off. Of course, when Hogan starts talking about the love that he has, and then when he says the love I have for Elizabeth, you see Savage just quickly he turned that head, and then Hogan says for a brother to a sister, and
Yeah.
then he calms down, but you
I
could see it.
I watched these back to back. Was this so I might be mixing up the two main events. Was this when he said that he felt the pain when Elizabeth was hurt? I felt the pain or something like that. Like, or Macho was saying, I felt it too when your shoulder got hurt. I felt it. And yeah, I felt it too, brother. Like, it was
Yeah,
this promo,
there was
right?
this one.
I
Yeah,
wasn't sure if it was this or the next one, but
yeah, it was this one. I goes
that's great
when
stuff,
you were
man.
down, I felt it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well,
That's
then you
great
should have
stuff.
got out there a little
Yeah,
earlier. Then.
exactly. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So
But they're swearing up and down. Everything is good
everything's good.
between
Yeah,
the two
yeah.
of them.
Ventura's not
And
buying it. Ventura's not buying it.
I'm now that I'm watching it, I'm not
Yeah, like
buying it
no,
because
no.
but I know what's
But we
coming.
know what's coming, yeah.
And of course, the next strike after this would
Hmm.
be the Royal Rumble,
Yep.
where Hogan accidentally eliminates
Yeah.
Savage,
Yeah.
and Savage gets back in the
Mhm.
ring, and there's this tension between them and whatnot. And then they put it together. You know, Hogan can't be friends with anybody.
No. So
And
we'll get
Saturday main event is a good record of it.
right, yeah. Yeah.
We'll get
So
into those. But overall, I mean, this was a good one to start
yeah, it
off
was good.
1989. The Mega Powers dissension. Kurt Hennig starting to show off what he can do and what kind of year he's going to have in
Mhm.
1989. Hogan, again, Hogan with the feud with the Twin Towers. He had a good match with Akeem, even though I don't care for the gimmick.
Right.
I think one
And the
man
war.
gang would have been perfect.
Yeah.
And of course, we got the Ultimate
We
Warrior
got war.
undefeated.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it was solid. All right.
Yeah.
So you guys let us know what you think. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.